Okay, so we have some breaking news regarding T-Mobile. I'll link this article for you down below. You guys can check it out if you need to. We're talking about price increases that are more than likely 99% happening this Thursday. This is for legacy customers. So if you're on the more expensive, newer plans, you most likely don't have to worry this time around. Your prices will increase at some point because T-Mobile is raising prices all across the board throughout the year. We've seen this, but this time around it's just legacy customers that are being targeted. This is a continuation of what Mike Sievert had said during a press conference. He talked about that there's unfinished business, that he will be revisiting a practice that he started last year, which was around this time. It was actually in May of 2025, so it looks like we're getting things kicked off a little early. There's a lot of eagerness, I guess, to get the ball rolling, where he was raising prices for legacy customers. This process that we're reading about is the exact same situation that we were in a little less than a year ago. It was May 2025. Now we're in March, but the exact same approach. T-Mobile is supposedly increasing overtime for customer service reps. They're approving overtime for the entire rest of the month. Okay. There's increase in support incentives for employees, specifically on Thursday. So they want everyone on the ball this coming Thursday. Now, if that isn't a sign, I don't know what else is. This will be chaotic. I'm telling you firsthand, this is going to be a horrible experience for those employees that work for T-Mobile. Many will probably resign that day, and if not, it'll be shortly after. This is going to be madness. There's a lot of loyal customers that are on those plans that are only sticking with T-Mobile because of the deals that they have, and I don't think T-Mobile cares either way. If you choose to leave, so be it. If you're choosing to stay, well, then you're going to pay. And if you're not going to pay, then we have no use for you. So you'll either pay more for your current plan, or you'll pay more for a more expensive plan if you feel like this is too expensive now, or you can get out. Check yourself to the door, because they don't need you. That is their mentality now. This is how carriers are starting to think. We don't want you on those plans. We want you on the new plans. We want you paying more for our service. And if you're not willing to do that, leave. And it's courageous behavior because there's a lot more options than there used to be. But they don't care. It's an odd way of thinking because they're pushing the customers away rather than trying to attract them. They're focusing so much on new product, new customers, that they're not thinking about the ones that have been paying, that are responsible, that they're generating actual income from every month. You're taking risks when you get new customers. They may not pay. They may be problematic for you. They could cause problems for the company, your employees. They could default. These are things that can happen. When you have good relationships, you need to value those relationships and respect them as well. There's no loyalty anymore with companies. And I think for many, it's time to close the book on T-Mobile and companies that treat you like this. Exercise your options. There are MVNOs out there that you can use that are half the price, maybe even less than half of what you're paying now, and will offer you very similar service and benefits to some degree. You may not get all the bells and whistles, but you won't be paying as much, and you'll have a lot more self-respect, and you won't have to worry about continuous surprises with price hikes. Yes, MVNOs do raise prices too, but it isn't as bad. And yes, T-Mobile does own a lot of the MVNOs that you're probably going to go to use their network, but at least you're not giving them all of your money. They're only getting a small portion of it, as where when you stick with T-Mobile and use their postpaid or prepaid, you're getting all of that profit. It's all in their pocket. So be prepared because it is coming. I guarantee we'll get the final word, the final verdict on Thursday that the price hikes have indeed been announced. There's supposedly a morning call where they're going to talk about this. So it's definitely going, and people are being prepared. You can expect your bill to go up anywhere from $2 to $5 in between. And I'm not sure how they're going to judge this. It could be depending on which old plan you're on. That may be how they determine it. I think it was something to that degree. If you're on like the one plan, I think it was anywhere from $2 to $3 if I'm remembering. I think the Magenta plans were a little bit more because there's a little bit more perks in those plans. So be prepared. You know, I'm not against T-Mobile valuing themselves and requesting payment for what they feel is worth their service. So if, in other words, if they feel their plans are worth a certain amount of money, that's fine. These are your plans. This is your company, and you can charge what you like freely. And customers have the right to either choose to accept that payment or not accept that payment and use another carrier. But when you've blindsided your customers by promising them one thing and then doing another, that is unprofessional and that's deceitful. Okay? You're not honoring your word. And there's nothing more important than your word when it comes to business. If you can't do that, then you're not being business friendly. You're not being a business. You're not doing the right thing. So, like I said, many customers need to really think about what they want to do at this point in time. And I really think it's the only way that these companies are going to learn is if you choose to not deal with it. Close the book on it. Try an MVNO for a couple of months. You know, that's what they want. I know they want you to leave, but you know what? Maybe you don't want to return. Maybe you'll leave and be happy not going back, because Metro works just as great. Mint is just as great. There's many alternatives to using T-Mobile's postpaid or prepaid. When you think outside the box and you're not doing speed tests and all of that, if you don't need it, then why pay for it? You don't have to. But anyway, everybody's decision will be their own. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this. Are you sticking with T-Mobile if your plan goes up? Are you leaving? And where are you going? MVNO? You're going to bump up to a more expensive plan from T-Mobile? You're going to another carrier? Just curious. Feel free to comment down below. Please like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell if you haven't already, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.